Good morning, everyone. It's Sunday here, Val in Vancouver again. Just going to be doing another pour for you today based on something I just did as a redo the other day. If you follow me on Instagram or have posted in the acrylic pouring for fun groups on Facebook or the Julie Cuts group pouring your heart out, I did some a redo and I just absolutely loved the way it turned out. So I'll just show you that right now. It's pretty much dry to the touch, but not yet, of course, dried for any kind of sealing. But hopefully you can see that without too much glare, but I absolutely love how that turned out. So I'm looking right now to do a bigger version of that today. I also bought at the dollar store, before we go into that, I bought this awesome little apron here. It's plastic, so it's waterproof, so it will be easy to keep clean, and now I can keep my clothes clean because I ruined a few items of clothing in that. But also I just wanted you to see here my little frogs that I've painted. They're just little wooden thin plain frogs that I got from Michael's a little while ago. I'll hold this up, hopefully you can see that, that I painted for a future project. I think they're just adorable, so I just wanted to show you those. And also wanted to show you, I just bought as an experiment these little coasters from the dollar store. There's 4 in a pack for $2.50. They're cork backed and they have a pattern on them, of course, but I'm just going to try them as an experiment. So I just took a little tiny bit of leftover paint I had yesterday from that project I just showed you and did this on the one coaster. I have no idea if it's going to stay there or not. I don't think it's going to come off. I didn't do anything with the surface of the coasters before I put this paint on, but we'll see what happens with the rest. If I have any left over from today, then I will probably use it on those other 3 coasters so that I can get the same result. So the colors that I used for the one I just showed you that I'm going to use again today in the exact same order are all the Artists Loft ready-made paints. And I used the violet, the black, the orange, the white, and the aqua green in that order. So this is an 11 by 14 canvas. So according to the info I got from Julie Cuts' site a while ago, she did the formulations of how many ounces or grams you need based on the size of your canvas. So also you can do the math individually if one of your sizes isn't listed here. So the math individually is A times B, so let's say width times height or length, and then take that number and multiply that times 0.13, and that will give you the ounces. If you like to work in metric, which I can do both, you would take the A in centimeters and times the B in centimeters, divide that by 2, and that would give you your grams. But I'm doing this in ounces. So according to my math, I need about 20 ounces, 19 and a bit of ounces of paint for this canvas. So these cups here that I'm using are about 9 ounces each. So I haven't filled them both 100% full, but I think I've got more than enough paint here. It's weird how these, I layered them exactly the same. I even counted in my head each time I was pouring in a color and that, but it's interesting how they've layered differently. So it's going to be interesting to see how these turn out. I did this ahead of time because it took a few minutes. I didn't want you to be bored watching that. I also did put a little bit of silicone on the side, inside on the sides of the cup, just to see. Also, it helps the paint come out, but also just to see what result we may end up with. The technique I used on those first 2 that I showed you was, I think some people call it a pretzel pour. I just basically did what I would sort of like as a ring pour, but in a figure 8 thing. So that's what I'm planning on doing today. So let's get started and not waste any more time. So I'm going to start with this one, just because this is the one I poured first. So, and again, I'm not 100% sure how this is going to turn out, but that's, for me, is all about the experimenting with this kind of paint. So I'm going to keep it to mostly this upper half of the canvas, and then I will put the second cup on the bottom half. So this is pouring quite fast, which is pretty awesome. There's that purple. That was the first color I put in. Okay, just gonna cover my corner there a bit. And same with over here. And any paint that's left in there, is pretty cool looking, the design, but I'll probably use, either I'll use that on those coasters or something else, but I think I'll end up using it on the coasters. Okay, so let's do cup number 2. And just start pouring it in a figure 8 type style. It does kind of look like some of those pretzels you see on streets or in fairs and places like that. I'm just making a bigger circle there. or figure 8 just to kind of spread the paint out. Got a little bit over here, so I'm just going to go up here this side with this and over to the corner and over to the corner. So I think I've got plenty of paint there. For some reason it seems a little more on this side, maybe even though I've got my table and everything's even, maybe the cups or something aren't even. But I just like that just the way it is. I almost don't want to move it. I'm not going to have to tip it much just to cover up these sides. So that's going to be kind of cool. So I'm just going to give it a little blast with the torch first, get rid of any air bubbles, and see if any cells do come up with the silicone that was on the side. I do find, like if you noticed on that first one I showed you, the first two little ones, that there is some cell work in there, not a huge amount, but you can see cells coming up here already. Be careful not to burn my finger there with the torch. Okay, so let's just gonna let that sit for a minute. I'm hoping everybody's having a good day, a good week, a good Sunday. I'm going out for brunch in a little while with a friend, so I'm kind of excited about that. He's also the first person to buy any of my paintings, so I'll be taking those paintings with me. We were supposed to get together a couple weeks ago, but he ended up sick, and so we rescheduled for today. So see how this is moving on its own off this side? It's pretty awesome. Like I don't even really have to tilt to this side, which is kind of cool because I'm liking this just the way it is. I really don't want to tilt this. I just like the pattern the way it is. But we'll have to tilt a little bit on the end here and this side, obviously, and a little bit here to get covered. So let's get that started. I think I'm just going to go towards this end first since it's, and then, well, it's heavy with the paint there. I'm going to keep this, try and keep this centered as I go down there. And then over to the side. Whoo, yeah, there's lots of paint on this. I think this is way too much. I would never normally put this much paint, but I was going by the math that Julie had talked about, so that's okay. Bring it back to center a little bit and then just pour off the end there. So now I do think there's a huge amount of paint on this paint. Yeah, that makes sense. Paint on this canvas that is going to take forever to dry if I to leave it all on there. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let some of it, I'm going to let it settle a minute, and then I may, oh, it's so pretty though. I really don't want to lose any of what I've got on here. I think I'll pull it this way a bit more and let it pour into one of these cups so that I can keep it and use the excess or something, because even the runoff right now is gorgeous. I might even just see about pressing the those little coasters on there like it is. But let's see if I can get some of this into the cup. So if you can't, I do apologize if this ends up going off frame a little bit, but I just want to, there's so much on here, I just don't want to waste it. Okay, back to center we go. Just leave that just for a second. My little cup fell over. Okay, and then I'm going to move back over to this side and pour a little bit off this end. Sorry if I just went out of frame there. I just wanted to move the cup back. Okay, I really like that, and I don't want to muck it up too much by moving it around too much. It's pretty awesome. I'm not sure what you guys think, but I hope you like it. I'm going to give it a torch in just a second, just to give it, see if we can bring up any more cells. It's tempting to maybe flick a little bit of silicone on here just to make some more cells appear, but we'll see. So here, I don't know if you can see this. I have a big patch of paint down there. I'm just going to take this one coaster and drop it in there and see if I can get it covered. It's probably not going to be a very attractive. I think it might just be a muddy mess. Ooh, that's actually pretty cool. What do you think of that? Not bad. Just let me grab a cup to be able to put that on, so it can drip dry. I actually like that a lot, and there's even some cells coming up in there. So let's see. I'm just going to move my painting over a bit. Don't have a lot of room, unfortunately, to move it, so I'm just going to drop this coaster there. And then come over and do the other half. Or another bit of the off pouring. Okay, so that one's not covered completely, so let me just see if I can cover the areas that need a bit more. And there's another one done. Pretty cool. Doesn't look bad at all. It's definitely not as dark as the first one I did, but I'm not looking for these to match. They're just an experiment, like a lot of my work. So I'm just going to put that there. And let's see if I can do the other one. I think I'm going to do it over here. I know you can't see it, but I'm going to do it at the runoff that's come down the bottom here. Let's see what we get with this one. Okay, so that one's just kind of a muddy mess. Don't really like that one, but we'll leave it for now. I'm going to do something to it. Oops, that was close. I'll do something to it later to see if we can make it look better. Anyways, this looks fantastic. I love the cells in here and the stretching that happened in here, and I love these little sort of dots. Not sure what you'd call them. Let me just give this one more torch, and then I will bring you in for a close-up. But I don't think I would use that much paint again. To me it seems like an awful lot. I know we're looking for like the best coverage, obviously, and lots of coverage so that the canvas doesn't show through when the paint moves on its own until it fully settles, etc. So I understand that, but that just seems like a lot to me. I'm just moving around here so I can see this other end. Just going to pop this corner here and that corner down there. All right, let me just again wipe my hands. Going to grab fresh paper towels. And then we'll torch everything, because there's even some little cells coming up in all three of those little coasters that I did. So we'll give everything a torch and see what happens, if anything. But I think this is stunning. It makes me think a little bit of a geode, but not really, but something along those lines. It definitely makes me think stones and crystals and that kind of thing. So that's pretty awesome. Just paper towels clinging to me. So I'm going to move this over here so you can see it. So this is the one that I did that I didn't really like because it's pretty muddy. But let's see what happens. So you can see, I don't know if you can see some tiny, tiny, tiny little cells coming out there. And there's a little bare patch there, but you can always finger pop a little bit more paint on there, just to make sure everything's covered. But yeah, that's not actually that bad. I mean, it looks kind of like little stone tiles, which could be ideal for some project that someone was interested in. So that's that one. And then here's this other one. So this one's looking pretty awesome. Again, I'll just give a little torch. Lots more cells in this one, but also a little bit more of the underside showing that pattern that it came with. But again, you can just finger pop some color on there and it should be fine. But that's kind of cool looking too, like I said, with the cells that are coming up. And then let's just have a look at this third. This one, what I did first, is actually my favorite. Love the cells there, the big cells that came up on that one. Love those. So I'll do a little torch, see if anything else comes up. Oh yeah, look at all the little ones that came up in there. Hopefully I'm lining this up properly for you. But yeah, look at the line. I'll give it a close-up when I bring this down to do the close-up, so I can at least see what I'm doing. So let's do that. Let me just wipe my hands again, and we will bring the canvas down, or the camera down, to show you a close-up of everything. I don't know why my nose is running today. It's not usually like that. Okay, let me just grab my camera. Bear with me. I apologize for the jiggliness. Okay, so let's have a look at these little ones first. So there's the first one. I apologize for the glare, but that's pretty cool looking, I think. And there's the second. Here's the second one. And again, pretty cool. Lots of little cells coming up in these that make them more attractive. Definitely look like stones. This one, like I said, is not the most attractive of them, but that's okay. It's just an experiment, trying to use up a little bit of leftover paint. Just finger tapping that a little bit there with some color because some of the original pattern underneath is showing. All right, now let's take a look at this beauty, because this is amazing in my opinion. I absolutely love this. I'm going to take you down slowly, and we'll kind of do 4 square area. So this is the bottom right corner if you're standing at the end where I work from, of course, and then we'll move up here to the top right corner. I do apologize for the glare. Just not sure how to get rid of that, unfortunately. My hand doesn't help. Okay, so there we go, the top right corner. Pretty beautiful. I love, love, love this middle part where the orange has come in here, and it just makes it look like gold. It's just beautiful. Look at that. That whole section right there from down to here. Let me see where my finger is, all the way up to the top. It's just beautiful. Definitely my favorite part of this painting. Now move over to the top left corner. Got more of that orange mixing, I guess, with the white mostly, and creating that sort of gold there. And then moving up to that left corner. And then here we go down. I love this middle part, the little of the aqua green in there, so pretty. And then down to the bottom corner. Well, we've got a few little cells action over here, which I really like. Let me just find where I am. Sorry there for the blur. Yeah, right in here. I really like this area too. Very, very nice. I'm just going to go straight up the middle here, vertically. So going straight up the middle. I do apologize for the glare. Let me just hang on a second. There we go. So I turned off my dining room light, and it's just my kitchen light shining through. So I'm going to start that again. So bottom left corner. Very pretty. Loving this little hint of the green there, and hopefully it won't shift off as the paint continues to move. I'm hoping it won't disappear. Love this orangey gold streak all the way up here. It's just beautiful. And the blue, the aqua green, turquoisey blue. Look at that with those little dots here of orangey gold. Just fabulous. Just love this. So moving right up here to the very top right corner again. You can see everything. Look at that. Just love that section. Just love this whole section. Look at that gold. And that's from the orange mixing with the white, I guess. And yeah, just absolutely stunning. Just love, love, love this middle upper section. Okay, moving back over to the bottom, or sorry, the top left corner again. Now that we've gotten rid of the glare. And some really pretty aqua green here again that I'm hoping doesn't disappear off the canvas. And then down to this bottom left corner. So yeah, absolutely loving this. I'm just going to pull back again so you can see the whole thing. Oh man, I am amazed how this artwork works. It's just, like I said, you get a different result every time. They don't look at all like those two that I showed you, the diptych that I showed you, and yet they're all 3 stunning in their own ways. But I really, really love this one. Just so happy with this one. Anyways, I'm going to let you go. Have a great Sunday. Enjoy your day, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye.